Selza, copy. This is me bringing you the Scrap Runick deck. Yeah, the mic is not great, but I am going to be showcasing Scrap Runick, which is a very solid deck, I would say. It's not the best version of Runick because, you know, the Cancer Toxic one that just sets up a bunch of floodgates and decks you out is, you know, probably the better one, I would say, or the more consistent one. There's other, like, synchro runic stuff like that, but it also loses the maxi like this deck does, but sort of in a different way. I like this build because it is built for going second. I just go blind second. I don't care what you play. If you're playing an FTK, obviously that's, you know, pretty bad, but like that's like most FTKs. You can't really do anything. You have to draw the specific hand trap, stop specific combo, etc, etc. But let's get on to the replays and showcase why this deck is great. So I've saved 3 replays of me winning. I tried to save a replay of me losing, but I just forgot. So the classic YouTube thing to do is, yeah, you know, this deck could be good, but what does it do when it loses? But let's go on to the first replay. I haven't actually checked a lot of these replays. So yeah, if you see this hand's insane. So I have the Scrap Raptor, I have the Pinkertops, I have Tip, Flashing Fire, and Destruction. This is basically a perfect hand, which is like really good. This is like the best showcase of the deck. And I'm playing against Adamancepators. Yes, this replay was super good because my Adamancepator player, he didn't open up perfect, but he did open up a decent board. And this would just showcase you how great it is at like dealing with disruption. And I did sort of misplay, but I think it just doesn't matter. It just shows the power of this deck and how good it is, even if I misplay. So he's just comboing off. He's using the Prank Kids combo to kind of draw into something or get like link material. So he links 3 into, I believe, no, link 4 into Apollosa. Yes. So he goes into Apollosa. That's pretty good. He gets to get to the Gigantes, the Seeker, and the Researcher. Yeah. So, yep, the Seeker and then the Researcher. That is great. So, now, he banishes for the Gigantes, or she, you know, whatever. Researcher goes ahead and mills the 5 cards, or excavates, or whatever. I think this, yeah, it hits into a Roxy's and a Tackle. So, then summons the Roxy's, goes in Seeker. This is just pretty standard, like, Adamancepator stuff. It's pretty basic. I think he hit I forgot it, Weeping Idol? I forgot what it's called. Doki is really good. So now he can, you know, summon something else from the deck. So he uses those 2 to go into Rap type, which is really decent. So he can go for another summon. So let's see what he hits. 2, 3, 4. Is that 5? Nope, that's not 5. But they do hit a Guardian. And then links all 3 of those into what? Oh, Synchro. Is that Savage? Savage, okay. So it goes into Savage, which is pretty decent. Yep. Links that. Banishes 3 for the Block Dragon again, and then goes into... Okay, this is where he kind of misplayed, because they don't have a rock in the hand. So this Guardian's not going to be here. But it really didn't matter, honestly. If you're, like, if you see my hand, obviously it doesn't matter. But, yeah. So, the Guardian goes away. And now we go into our draw. We draw into another Pinkertops, which is, like, really good. I'm pretty sure you can only special summon Dunner. Okay, you can only special summon this way once per turn. So, it's kind of unfortunate I drew 2, like the only 2 in the deck. So I go Battle Phase. If you've seen this, see, I went Battle Phase. So even if he had the Guardian, I could have just summoned the Scrap Raptor and attacked over it anyways, because this is 14 and that has 12 defense, I believe. Yep, it has 12. So I could have just normal summoned the Raptor and dealt with it. So I think this is where I messed up here, is that I thought I had the Freezing Curse, or the one that negates effects. I'm pretty sure. Flashing Fire destroys a special summon monster. And this one, or the other one, negates the effects. So I thought I had freezing curses, and that's where I misplayed, but it doesn't really matter, honestly. So going to Scrap Raptor, Raptor effect, he goes board load negate. That's fine. I was like, yeah, I don't have freezing curse. So then I'm like, okay, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. I can just spot summon from the extra deck a Hugin. So I can go Hugin into the field spell. You discard the Pinkertops because I don't really need it. And then I can go into the Fountain. I can activate the Fountain. I don't really need to activate anything right now. They go Masquerena. I go Chain Flashing Fire. Flashing Fire destroys the Masquerena and it banishes the top 2 cards from the top of their deck. And then I can just go into the scrap combo. This is where the scrap part comes in. This is where the scraps are just really good. They just let you set up a board. Because if you really think about it, like the floodgate parts are like strong. This is where like you would substitute the floodgates. Like this would be like a set like, I don't know. There can only be one or a Gozen or a rivalry or whatever. But like you can actually set up a good board instead of, or like you can break through their board, because if you go second with like floodgates, obviously like that won't be able to break a board like this. But this deck is where that shines. You can go second. You can break people's boards. You can go first with the scrap combo, and then you could like have the runic stuff on top of that to, you know, set up even greater board. So now I have Apollousa. So I go Runick tip out for this one, so I can get to the Slumber. So Slumber protects the Apollousa. So this is 4 disruptions, because it can't be destroyed by battle. And I also draw 3 off of this. So now I have a Flashing Fire, I have a Pinkertops, I have 3 negates. Like, what does my opponent do? And he's down to, what, 3 cards? And also, if he summons the Block Dragon, I can just negate it. So now he goes into the Harpy's Feather Duster. That's pretty bad. But I do change the Slumber so it is protected from battle if they do decide to go to the battle phase, but probably not. That's just bad. I just win anyways. I just go Scrap Raptor, do the combo again, and pop their board. They go Card Destruction, which is like fine, I guess. I draw into nothing. Like that was like pretty bad for me. So they go normal summon the what is it? Revival Golem? Yes, Revival Golem. And then they go into Asa, and then they use the effect of Block Dragon, and obviously I can negate it with the Apollousa, and that is pretty much GG, because they can't even attack over the Apollousa. If they crash into the Pinkertops, I just basically destroy them, because I just negate the effect anyways of the Asa. So let's move on to the next replay. This is going to be a more longer replay. You see it's 6 turns to 3 turns. I'll probably go fast forward into this and just talk more about the deck. Again, the problems of this deck is definitely Max C. Like, Max C definitely shuts you down, especially if they make a board. Like, I played against a Despia player that they set up a board of just Mirror Jade, Branded in red, Branded Banishment, and then they had Max C on top of that, which is, like, really bad. So, this is the next replay. I'm going against, I think this is Gren Maju. So, this hand is obviously really good. I have the Runic part of my deck. I'm trying to see the Scrap part of my deck. I also have Pinkertops, which is really good. And it's also really good that I went first, because I probably could have got OTK'd. Like, he drew a bunch of cards. It's just like at least 2 from that, 2 from that, 2. That's 8 cards. They dug 8 cards deep into their deck. So I probably could have got OTK'd. I did see a Scrap Raptor, which is really good. I'm gonna go Scrap Raptor effect, pop, and use the effect. They chain Called by the Grave, which is pretty bad. I think I have a really bad habit of just not using my Runic cards, because I think I can just OTK them. But I could have just went for the safer play. I think the reason behind this is that I just wanted to OTK them, because I know they're playing Gren Magi, because they're playing like Eater of Millions and Banish a bunch of cards with Allure and Desires and stuff like that. So I just wanted to OTK them, but that wasn't really possible, because I expected them to have like Lightning Storm, Lava Golem, like all this other stupid stuff that they can just drop on the board, which is like kind of annoying. So I was just like, I'm gonna just drop this Scrap Raptor. If they stop it, they stop it. I could just go into my Runic stuff. If not, I could just OTK. So they have the Call by the Grave, which is fine. I just go into my Runick stuff. I just set up a nice Hugin into the field spell. Discard the Pankratops because I won't really need it. The Runick cards just carry on their own. So now I have a Freezing Curse for the whatchamacallit, what's that card called? Grenmaju, and then I have anything for Flashing Fire, and then whatever else for Slumber. So we're looking pretty decent. They go Harpies, which is fine. I go Hugin Banish, and then they go Battle Phase. I choose to just use the effect of Freezing Curse. I could have summoned the other fusion, which is Gary. Yes, Gary. I could have summoned Gary, and if they attack over it, I pop the card. If not, I could just, whatever. So they go Concentrating Current, which is like super weird. So now I have to whatchamacallit. So I just draw 2 just to be safe, and then I go Slumber into the Gary anyway. So probably should have started off with the Gary, and then just Freezing Curses anyway. So that's probably a misplay as well. But it's all fine. Like, I drew, like, cards anyway, so it's just fine. So now I have a Slumber, so that can protect the Gary from being destroyed. I have the Flashing Fire, which is really good for popping anything else. And then he can't really do anything. He can't even OTK me here. So he needs another monster. He goes Danger Bigfoot, and they hit the Bigfoot, I believe. Yup, the classic. So I probably should have set my Runick cards, but at the same time, I don't know. It was just kind of wonky. Then they go Kaiju Slumber. So here, so here I'm pretty sure, because I think I targeted my Gary. I don't remember what happened, but neither of these cards are going to be destroyed by a card effect. And then he just wastes his Slumber for no reason. So now they go summon Gizmek, and this is fine. They can't attack over because I just popped it. Grenmaju. And now this is just basically game. I draw into the Scrap Raptor, and this is where I just basically combo here. And this is just game. Like, this is just insane. Because now I can just go Scrap combo again, because they stopped me last time. So now I just have all of the Scrap cards in my deck. So now I can just, send this with Recycler, summon with Wyvern. Wyvern summons, Golem, pop a card, and then go into something else. So this replay is basically done. This is just the shine of this deck. You could just break through boards, you could set up boards, you could stop people from OTKing you. It's just so good. And even if you skip your battle phase, it's fine, because you could just set up like 2 or 3 disruptions after you break their board, and it's just GG because they can't really do anything. And my opponent realizes finally, and they scoop it up. And I'm also playing Cosmic, by the way. I think that could be swapped in for any other generic card. I just played it because it was just really good against the Runick Mirror match, because I feel like the Mirror match is like the hardest matchup, because they have Max C, they have Floodgates to stop you from comboing with the Scrap cards, which is like the main downside of this deck. If you can't get to the Scrap cards, the Runick cards don't really do anything. You could stall out, but if you don't have an answer to stuff like there can only be one, Rivalry, goes in whatever Floodgate they have, you just don't have a win condition at that point. So here I'm playing against the, I think this is like a hero player or something like that. They chain Maxi. Well, see, this is bad for me, obviously, but at the same time, I don't even have the Scrap card, so it's not even that terrible. So they get a draw 1. I think a slight misplay here is that I should have chained the Destruction in my hand. So I think that's how it works. So if I activate the Destruction, I can use that to special summon. So that special summons the Hugin from the X deck before the Maxi has resolved. So then the other card does not resolve, and therefore I don't special summon, and then they don't get a draw, which is like fine. So that would have been like a better play to play around a potential draw into Ash, which they do draw into, which is annoying. See, the next card they drew was Ash, which is like really annoying. So that play would have definitely been better. I would have had access to the field spell, and the field spell would have drew me into a bunch of cards and stuff like that. Oh, I'm playing against Unchained. Ew. Wow, why did I say this replay? This is bad. But yeah, I'm playing against Unchained. This is kind of annoying. This is like the annoying part of this matchup, is that I have a lot of destruction. So let's see how I play this out. They go into the Rage, solve the Rage, and the twin, I don't remember this name, the fire one. And then they set to and pass. This is fine for me. I draw in a Scrap Raptor, which is pretty cool. So here's my thought process. So this one targets a special summon monster I control, and then immediately link summon. So I'm like, if I go into the Scrap Raptor combo, if I go into Wyvern or whatever, they can just use the effect, link it off, and then what do? I just do nothing. So I'm just trying to wait for like a negate or a way to stop the soul from negating my Scrap Raptor, so I can do the Scrap Raptor combo. And because it's Unchained, they don't really have anything but like the trap cards that special summon Unchained monsters, which is like, okay, I don't really care about that. So I was like, I'm just gonna use this effect to summon like Yugioh, get my field spell, and then sit on that pass. But as you're gonna see, it's gonna be very unfortunate for my opponent. So I go set up Fountain, I use the effect so I can draw a few cards, and then I can pass, because I can draw 3 here, because I have the Golden Droplets, I have 2 of the Destructions, and I had the other one, I forgot the name of it, Spitting Smash or something like that, I forgot. But now I think I pass my turn, and they activate the effect of Soul of Rage, which is fair enough, because I'm passing my turn, so they don't expect anything, from my turn after that. So I surprise them with the Scrap Raptor, and this is why this deck is like really good, because you can catch them on surprise, because they didn't see, I'm pretty sure they didn't see anything, but they saw Runick, but they can't really predict that I had something else in my hand. So I go activate the Scrap Raptor, and I just combo off here. They activate the cards to special summon. As I said before, like the Unchained cards don't really do anything after that. All they have is the Link monsters and like trap cards like Ice Dragon Prison, etc., etc. That's like, and obviously I didn't see any delays, so I was just like, I'm comboing off. I'm just gonna destroy you right here, because this deck is just really good at breaking boards. Even if I can't destroy their cards, I just destroy Verte here, and then I don't remember what I do here. I think I go for the Underworld Goddess, because Underworld Goddess is so insane against a lot of different matchups, because there's a lot of decks that just summon an unaffected monster, like Adignisters, or there's just some other random stuff. Like I was playing against a Blue Eyes player, and they summoned like I think it was like an alternative dragon that was unaffected by card effects or whatever, like unaffected by everything, and I linked that off. But here I link off the Soul of Rage for the Underworld Goddess, so I can spin back their monster, I believe, or the back row. And then I think I go for Unicorn here, and then draw 1 off the Unicorn, ditching the Scrap Golem, because Scrap Golem is doing nothing in my hand. Obviously I can tribute for it, but I mean, I'd rather have like another Runick card, which I do draw into. I skip my battle phase, which is fine, don't really need to do anything. They go into main phase 1, set 1, and pass, and at this point, I'm just way too far ahead. I have 3 Runick spells in my hand. I drew into a Fossil Dig, which didn't really matter. I could have just Gizmek, summon itself, and then go into Access Code game, but I just drew in the Scrap Raptor, which I can just normal summon, and just keep my Gizmek in my graveyard, so I can keep the resources in my deck. And then I go into Access Code, and Access Code is going to gain 3,000 attack, and that's pretty much going to be game. They try to special summon with, because I wasn't going to pop this. Like, what are Unchained going to do? I wasn't going to pop it, obviously, but they do chain it, and I negate it with the Underworld Goddess, and then I just attack them for a game. So that is it for the replays. Let's move on to the deck and just talk about what I built this deck on. So as you can see, I am Duel level 15, which is like pretty solid. I still have 5 levels to go here. But yeah, let's go into the deck. It's pretty simple. I'm just maxing out on a lot of the good Runick cards. Like obviously 3 Fountain, 3 of the Runick Tip, and then 3 Flashing, 3 Destructions. Look at this great roll finish, by the way. The 3 Freezing Curses, which is really good. 3 Slumber, because this card protects you from destruction on stuff like the Scrap Wyvern and the Scrap Raptor, which is like really good. And then 2 of the worst Runick cards. This is Spinning Storm, this is Golden Droplet, and then this is Dispelling. So these are basically to summon out your Yugioh or your Gary, which is like really good. So you basically have about like 20, I think, it's like something like that. It's a lot of Runick spells. You want to have like half of your deck be Runick spells, and then half of your deck be something else, like, you know, if you're playing Floodgates, you're playing Floodgates. If you're playing the synchro version, you're playing synchros. If you're playing scraps, you know, in this example, you're playing the scrap card. So it just depends on which you want to play. Obviously, you could like cut down to 40. If you're cutting down to 40, you're playing 10 of the, you know, synchro cards or floodgates or scrap cards or whatever. It's really good. I like 50 in this deck because obviously Gizmek makes your deck kind of wonky and you're banishing a lot of cards. So making it 50 is like pretty good. And by the way, like you have so many ways to scrap after. You have the scrap yard, you have the fossil dig, you have scrap raptor himself. You can draw into like, you know, recycler. So you have so many ways to the one card combo. It like doesn't even matter if you're going to 50. So that's why I like 50 in this deck instead of, you know, 40, because obviously it's more consistent, but I'd have to cut like so many Runick cards. I'd have to cut like Cosmic. I'd have to cut down on, you know, other stuff just to make it 40, and it's just not really that good. I think 50 plus is better. You can probably get away with like cutting like the Cosmics. Like if you wanted to really do it, you could just go cut these cards. You could probably cut like one of the yard if you want to make this like 45 or something like that. And then like, yeah, like this is just fine here. You could just play this, which is like pretty good. I still like maxing out on as many Runick cards as possible because the Runick cards are the main cards you want to have. Like you want to have 3 or 4 Runick cards and then like one of the Raptor, so you can like bait your opponent cards out with the Runick cards and then go scrap combo and break their board and then set up your own board, which is really good. And then you have obviously the 2 fusions and the other one, Gary. So Gary and Hugin. Hugin's obviously really important for getting to the field spell. You do run 3 of it, but you don't open it up into 50 cards like that. Probably in 40 cards it's more common to draw into it, but yeah, you need to search it. So you play 2. It's really good to have 2 also, by the way, because you have all these other like really bad Runick cards that really don't do anything. They just summon a Runick card, so you need to have a few extra deck spots for it. And then you have Link Spider, which is really good to get effect monsters on your board because you do summon 2 tokens. One with the Rose Nyx, one with the O-Line, so turning them into effect monsters is really good. Same thing with the Nightmare cards, Nightmare Cerberus, Phoenix, and Unicorn. These are really good for utility. If you want to destroy a special monster that's in the main monster zone, Phoenix to destroy back row, or Unicorn to spin anything, that's like really good. And then 2 Scrap Wyvern, you could really get away with 1 if you really wanted to. You can just like cut this and then play something else. Maybe you want to play another fusion. You want to play the other fusion. I forgot, it's called Mugen. I didn't want to craft it, so I just said, nope, I'm not playing it. It's just really not that important. And then we play IP Masquerena, really good to set up with your first turn setup. It's like really good. Lib, obviously this card is insane. So if you don't know the combo here, you basically go through your Wyvern play. You go into Recycler. Recycler sends the World Legacy World Crown. If you're playing Orcus, you obviously send the other one. I forgot what it's called. I think it's Wand. So in this combo, you send the World Crown because you don't play Orcus. This is just a free special summon if you draw it. This is really good. And then you can go set the Succession, which can summon back the Golem, and then Golem can summon back the Recycler, and then Recycler can send another machine, which is like most likely the Gizmek, which can get you a 2,450 attack monster on the board, which is like really solid. And then for the Link 4 and the Link 5, we have Apollousa, obviously really powerful. Zeroboros is really good for IP Masquerena, so you can go against like a back row deck that like sets 5, like Eldritch, Labyrinth. You can just go IP effects, Link into Zeroboros, and then quick effect, use Gizmek Orochi in the end phase, summon itself, banish everything on the field. So they banish all 5 of their spell cards or trap cards on the field, and then you can summon back the Zeroboros, and the Zeroboros is going to have like 4,000 attack. Obviously, banishing the Gizmek Orochi is like kind of bad, and as well as maybe a Fountain on the field is really bad, but it doesn't really matter at that point. Like, they have 0 cards. You probably have like 2 or 3 Runick cards in your hand. You have this Zeroboros that is at 4k, which is like really hard to out with a back row deck, which you just win the game anyways. You could also summon the Access Code Talker, which is like really good, either first or going second against a back row deck, which is like really good. But obviously Access Code is really good for OTKing. And then Underworld Goddess is just so good. It's like one of the best extra cards in this deck because it just outs so many things. People don't expect it. which is like really good about this card. So this is just basically my scrap Runick deck, which is like really good. I think everybody should check this deck out if you like Runick cards and you're looking for a different way to play it other than the Toxic Floodgate deck. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've rambled on long enough. I'll see you guys later.